Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Tuesday, June 1st. I am Frank Sanford, joined by Chris Towers. And let's start off ranking some potential middle infield options if you play in a Roto League. And Amed Rosario quietly had a great month of May. He had 307, 1 homer, 4 stolen bases. Cesar Hernandez had a double dong on Monday. And Willy Adames, since he has joined the Brewers, is batting .324 with 2 home runs in 10 games. He is 34% rostered. Chris, how would you rank Amed Rosario, Cesar Hernandez, and Willy Adames?
I think you can make a case for Rosario first. I think Cesar Hernandez is definitely last, but I'm actually going to go with Willy Adames first. And, I think there's some interesting things going on in his numbers. He recently was traded away from Tampa. For his career hitting at Tropicana Field, he has a .616 OPS. For his career on the road, he has an .862 OPS. That's significant not just because of the gap, but because most hitters are generally better at home. And I believe Willy Adames has talked about how he had trouble seeing the ball at Tropicana, or he just didn't really like hitting there. It is possible that there is, room for a breakout to happen now that he's out of Tampa, especially because Milwaukee is such a great place to hit.
Yeah, I think it's a great stat, great point there with Willy Adames. Miller Park is a great park to hit in. Obviously, it's better for left-handed power, but could see some power production here from Willy Adames. Chris, how would you rank these starting pitchers from most droppable to least droppable? We've been waiting for these guys to come around basically all season, and it's not happening. Jameson Taillon had another clunker on Monday. Dylan Bundy allowed 4 runs, 3 more home runs. ERA is up at 6.49. Eduardo Rodriguez, the underlying numbers look pretty good, but he's got a 5.64 ERA on the season. And Chris Paddock, I keep trying to defend the guy, Chris, but it's just not happening right now. He allowed 5 runs over 4 1/3 against the Cubs. So who is most droppable to least droppable from that group?
I think Taillon's the most droppable. And after that, I would probably say Eduardo Rodriguez. I would prefer, if I could avoid it, I would prefer to avoid dropping Eduardo Rodriguez. I do think he is better than Jameson Taillon, but if I have to, I'm okay with it. Paddock would be second least droppable, and I'm hanging on to Dylan Bundy. The real issue has just been the home runs for the most part, but he's actually not allowing that much hard contact. He's not really getting hit all that hard. It's just a handful of pitches coming at the wrong time, and that makes me think that he can turn it around. His underlying numbers actually look very similar to last year. His xERA is in the low 3s. I'm trying to buy Dylan Bundy where I can.
Would you drop any of those pitchers we just mentioned for Logan Gilbert, obviously top pitching prospect for the Seattle Mariners? He's got off to a very slow start, but turned in his first quality start of the season on Monday. 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. Would you drop any of those names for Logan Gilbert, Chris?
I would be fine dropping Jameson Taillon for Logan Gilbert. I don't necessarily think, you don't have to drop Jameson Taillon. You don't have to add Logan Gilbert, but if you want to do either, I think that's fine.
We had some news updates on these IL stash starting pitchers on Monday. Luis Severino is expected to begin a rehab assignment on Sunday. Chris Sale continues to increase the intensity and length of throwing sessions. He's expected back sometime in the midsummer. I think right after the All-Star break could make some sense for Chris Sale. Tony Gonsolin expected to join the Dodgers rotation next week, and Cesar Hernandez from the Marlins is expected to join the Marlins rotation at some point this current week. Chris, how would you rank Severino, Sale, Gonsolin, and Cesar Hernandez?
I think Severino and Gonsolin's close. Severino has more upside. Gonsolin's closer, so I'll go Gonsolin, Severino, Sale, and Cesar Hernandez, but I do think Cesar Hernandez is interesting. Had a really good, very short 2020. Could be a decent source of strikeouts.
And I will just caution people to don't have too high expectations of some of these Tommy John guys that are returning. Severino and Chris Sale. I could see the Yankees and Red Sox, respectively, both being very cautious with both of those pitchers. Let's just quickly wrap up here, Chris, with a potential breakout. We spoke a lot about awesome May numbers on the Full Length podcast, and Gavin Lux had 2 home runs on Monday. He hit .286 with 5 homers and 19 RBI in the month of May. Is the breakout happening for Lux?
He's still struggling against lefties, and I think that's the biggest thing for me is if he can't get to the point where he's at least holding his own against lefties, it's going to be hard for him to ever be a truly consistent fantasy option. So I'm going to say no, the breakout's not happening, but it's still early enough that I'm not ready to write him off.
and it's really cheap exposure to one of, if not the best lineups in baseball right now in the Los Angeles Dodgers. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.